Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world. And welcome to the United defeat aftermath. Of course, we'll talk all about again what happened 24 hours ago. We'll go, less emotional from last night. That's what I'm going to say, at least for tonight's show as well. And of course, we will be talking about should we be worried by Liverpool's start to the Premier League season as well. And of course, like I did mention, we're going to be talking about a bit about last night as well and everything that happened there. But guys, let me know how all of you are in the chat down below. Let me know how all of you are. To be fair, and guys, just let me know your overall thoughts. Still, about 24 hours ago, what happened against Manchester United, and of course, moving on, we'll talk about midfielders as well in today's video anyway. But John's in. Hello, John. Hopefully having a fantastic day, my friend. Saying big up, Connor. Mate, Shane Bassett. Hope you are well. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, mate. John, things in. Well, yeah, of course, in saying we are paying for blood, Connor. Be warned. Don't worry. Don't worry. To be fair, Hannah as well saying that was grim. We are grim. Yeah, we are at the moment, aren't we? It's not the best at the moment. Being a Liverpool fan, again, as to say it politely, and before I get copyright striked again.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
Yeah. I always keep that because I think it's the best clip for this type of situation with Manchester United as well. But yeah, John's in as well, saying obviously it's the same hi to Anna as well. Anyway, but we'll get straight into, of course, the downbeat and the down spiral from last night. And look, obviously last night we did our post-match reaction, full of emotion. And I was angry. I was angry at everyone for it as well. But for me, again, it was shite. Last night was shite. Yes, well, I keep saying last night. Yeah, last night it was shite. It was completely shite. No intensity from this Liverpool side. Just nothing to fight about. There was nothing to, even no positives really, apart from probably two or three things. And obviously, of course, we'll speak on a bit about later on. Should we be worried about this Liverpool side at the moment? And my honest answer is yes. It is. Look, I think all of us at the start of the season thought that Liverpool would be at the top of the league, competing, with the likes of Manchester City, and trying to fight, toe to toe yet again. And now, we talk about this and talk about, within ourselves, or are Liverpool ready to make the next step up and make the next jump up, in terms of fighting for themselves, and so on. And against Manchester United, they didn't look interested, of course, and we'll speak about certain individuals in a brief moment as well. But Gary's in saying Talio all been. Hello, Gary. Hopefully having a fantastic day. Well, that was fucking shite. Yes, it was. Where is it again? It was so good. I had.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
Shite, dreadful, same thing. Realistically, I can't play it a third time. Otherwise, I'm gonna get banned. That's me. My take on it tickled me that. Gonna watch that episode tonight as well. Yeah, good old in between us. Brilliant show. What that it was. Hi Glasgow, and yeah, of course, as well. Anyway, but I want to quickly talk about individuals from last night and a little bit about this man, Virgil Van Dijk, as well. And for me personally, last night was Virgil's worst game in a Liverpool shirt, for the sheer lack of fight, and the sheer lack of, not credibility. I don't think credibility is the correct word to use, but the correct, just fight and just desire for Liverpool. And I think this photo of James Milner screaming at Virgil van Dijk for the first goal, in particular, I think just shows a perfect example of Liverpool, of Liverpool's night. And for me, if James Milner's having to scream at Virgil van Dijk, about positioning and closing down and so on, something is wrong with the Liverpool side. And for me, last night, Virgil looked too relaxed. I think that's the best word to use about it. I think he did look too relaxed. I thought he was not mindful. I don't think mindful is the correct word. Just spaced out then realistically. And we talked about, of course, about mentally, are these boys ready? Are Liverpool prepared for this season? And last night I said no. I think Liverpool have been massively impacted by, of course, last year with the quadruple chase and obviously what happened in the Champions League final, and so on. And I think, look, it's obviously a huge expectation we have, to be up there. Look, now you have to be, 94, 95, 96, even, 97 points to win a league title, for God's sake. Whereas, in previous years when Manchester City wasn't a thing, of course, high 80s, mid 80s, even 70s would win you the Premier League title, in some aspects of things. And look, for Liverpool to, keep on, getting themselves back up takes a lot. But obviously, last night, Virgil van Dijk, for me, he was too relaxed last night. And I was reading earlier on, Neil Jones, what he had to say about last night's game, and he said, Jurgen Klopp needs his, main man to get angry and to get in people's faces because, and I think something Jamie Carragher mentioned as well, people this season and towards the end of last season as well was going at Virgil van Dijk and trying to beat Virgil van Dijk. And it's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. People trying to get at Virgil van Dijk and actually, working, pretty well for them. Mitrovic did it well on the first day, obviously won a penalty for them. Zaha on match week 2, of course, and then scoring. And then, yesterday, Marcus Rashford 1v1ing on Virgil van Dijk and beating Virgil van Dijk at times. And I don't know whether or not if that's because Virgil is so relaxed and so comfortable with himself that, if he gets past me, I'll have the guy next to me, beat him and so on. And for me, yesterday, it just took you back a little bit. We've praised Virgil van Dijk so highly over the last couple of years, of course, being the best centre back in the world. But of course, he is open to criticism when when it's there. And for me, the last time Virgil van Dijk had a bad game for Liverpool was when we lost to Leicester, last season, and that was the last time. Since then, he's been amazing, and I'm hoping that's the same reaction. He'll be amazing again. Excuse me, be amazing for the next couple of weeks and so on. But I don't know. For me, I don't know whether I've been too critical of Virgil, but for me, yesterday there was a problem with Virgil van Dijk, and I think he has to wake up a little bit because it's not just yesterday. Against Fulham, against Crystal Palace, Virgil wasn't at his best, and I think that could be depending on team. It could be something wrong with Virgil. Could be carrying an injury. We don't know, but I do think Virgil van Dijk needs to wake up personally as well. Anyway, but guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Liverpool are in a state of emergency when Nunes returns at Goodison. The presence and the goal threat will be there. Until then, where do the goals come? Well, we will have a look in a brief moment. I want to obviously a quick look at obviously average positions yesterday. Looking at it earlier on is ridiculous. To be fair, we were just not in the game from minute 1, says John as well. Yeah, no, he wasn't 100%. Virgil was as well, says Gary. Many bowling Virgil out when he wasn't great either. No, look, and none of them were great yesterday. I think the only players you can say that had a good game or could put themselves in that what's name was Fabio Carvalho when he come on, Harvey Elliott, Luis Diaz, and Alisson Becker. For me, I think were the only players that could. And I say this, even Joe Gomez to some extent. I don't think Joe Gomez could have done anything for both of the goals. In my personal opinion, anyway. But again, I agree. None of the midfield 3 was good enough. I say midfield 3. Harvey Elliott, excluded that. Henderson wasn't good. I actually had Henderson as a guy we're going to be talking about in a moment. As you can see by here, I made the thing for Jordan Henderson as well. But none of them, apart from the ones I've mentioned, I thought for me they wasn't good enough for Liverpool yesterday. And 100% agree. But obviously on the first goal, I think James Milner, obviously had the right intentions to have a go at Virgil, because Virgil, of course, just stands there. Could have easily closed down Sancho. Not saying, of course, the goal wouldn't have happened, but just to stand there and not go at Sancho. For me, and I think Millie as well. That was a big, big problem for Virgil van Dijk in Liverpool yesterday as well. But excuse me, agreed. John as well says Gary Virgil. Well, VVD should have been taken off for me. I'd have put on Nat as well. I wouldn't have gone that far, John. But to be fair, I can 100% agree with what you're trying to say. But it's like one has been saying this summer was not enough bodies. Nunes, yes. Carvalho, no. Barella instead. Carvalho was a cheap signing. No, I think Carvalho is for the future. You have to remember, guys. Carvalho is 18 years of age, 19 years of age. He's going to be here for the next 10 years. And the fact that, the whole of Europe wanted Carvalho as well, for me, yeah, Carvalho was a signing to get. Do I agree the fact that Barella should be a person Liverpool should be going for? 100%. 1000%. We will talk about midfielders in a minute. Anyway, Nat would have been throwing his head at their first goal as well. Yeah, 100%. Millie wasn't great, I agree, but at least he showed us he gives an F as well. Yeah, absolutely, 100% as well. And Ravi's in as well, saying big up, bro, as well. Hello, Ravi. Hope you're having a fantastic day, my friend, as well. But we'll take a look then about average positions for it. And for me, obviously, it's massively concerning when James Milner has a higher, average position than Bobby Firmino, who's meant to be your centre forward for the game. I don't think personally the false nine works anymore for Liverpool, or a variation of it doesn't work. Of course, this. Obviously, for me as well, Trent and Robbo's positions, if you look on the left and the right, quite clearly, something is wrong there. The fact that, Mo is more outwards as well. Normally, Mo would be a little bit more inwards, practically in between, James Milner and Harvey Elliott, but more up front. Of course, but the whole team just looks, wrong, particularly. And obviously, Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, that partnership, obviously normally so perfect from obviously when we won the title and so on, but yesterday gaps in between them all game. And of course we've already mentioned the downfall of yesterday as well. But for me, one we'll speak about him now, and that is Jordan Henderson. Look, I don't want to be critical of Hendo. Obviously he gets enough criticism as it is on social media and so on, but you look at this and look at the average position. Yes, he was deeper than than every other midfielder. But if you actually watch the game, there were certain elements where Liverpool were going forward that Henderson was the most forward midfielder on the pitch for Liverpool. And for me personally, I don't get, obviously, and Jurgen spoke about it, like you said yesterday, about, how realistically he'd prefer to play two in midfield, but doesn't have the forwards to go with a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, I think that's inkling, obviously like Diogo Jota in there, and of course Darwin to be back as well from suspension. But for me, Jordan Henderson, I don't know what it is. Like, his best position is supposedly meant to be a six. Yesterday, had a shocker of a game. The eight, there's a no-go for Jordan Henderson now. For me, as long as Harvey Elliott is fit and available, Harvey Elliott, that's his spot for me personally, as well. And someone, I think Gary mentioned Carvalho. For me, Fabio Carvalho starts against Bournemouth in a week's time, and for me personally, I think it should be the midfield three for Bournemouth. Should be Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, and Fabinho. And look, Fabinho isn't playing the best, don't get me wrong. But if you were to ask me which player would I prefer in the six, Jordan Henderson or Fabinho, would be Fabinho all day long for me. Hendo, for me, he looks knackered. And to be fair, all of them look knackered. But again, it's the fact that at the minute we don't have any other option but to play the likes of Jordan Henderson James Milner, Fabinho. There's no one else at the minute. The only players that that I haven't mentioned, of course, is Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho, who can play midfield. Obviously, we'll speak a little bit about Naby in a minute as well, but there's so much wrong with Liverpool at the minute that again I just don't know. I just really don't know. But for me, Jordan Henderson should be rested on the weekend against Bournemouth because I don't think he should be starting for Liverpool at the moment. Anyway, at least Millie was given it all. He is 37. 100% agree with that. Alan as well. Hello, Al. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend as well. Yeah, 100%. I'd agree. Again, it's that factor of yesterday. Apart from two or three players, nobody showed any fight for Liverpool and no intensity. As John's mentioned as well, Liverpool didn't turn up from minute one, and I 100% agree with that. And as well, I do also agree with the fact that Liverpool just didn't show up yesterday. We didn't fight. We didn't do anything against Manchester United. It looked like we were the struggling team. Not Manchester United. You look at it and it's like Liverpool for me yesterday looked like the team that has been mocked and laughed at over the last couple of weeks about being crap and the new manager and so on, and just no fight, just absolutely no fight for Liverpool yesterday. And again, maybe that's due to tiredness, maybe that's due to other things that we don't know about, who knows. But yeah, not the best to be honest. So do we maybe try it to a 3-4-3? Mate, I don't ever see it happening, but we do need to change something. For me, John, I think 4-2-3-1 is the only other formation I think Jurgen would even entertain. Potentially, when we have, of course, Ibu and Joel Matip back, potentially I could see 3-4-3, but no. I don't think Klopp will change much. Of course, either 4-3 or 4-2-3-1, personally. Anyway, Elliott should be the only one playing in the 8 if fit. Yeah, I would agree, 100%. Evening, I hope you are well. Hello, Chris. Hopefully I'm a fantastic day, my friend. Why is our club in denial over getting a new midfielder? We will talk about that in a moment as well. Zane as well. They were gutless. Yeah, 100%. Evening, Chris as well, says John. Well, not like we stacked with options in midfield, so we can't make many changes really due to injuries. 100% agree with that as well. But we take another look at that average positioning yesterday for Liverpool. Again, Mo Salah furthest played up the pitch. Luis Diaz out on the wing. But then again, you look at that midfield, Harvey Elliott pushing a bit outwards, Trent just above the halfway line, Robbo just above the halfway line. But, James Milner being the furthest midfield player, for me, a massive no. Anyway, but we will get into a bit of injury news then. Of course, Naby Keita, once again, for Liverpool Football Club. Obviously, yesterday missing, completely missed out on the team. Once again, of course, everyone suspected that potentially Naby might be gone and so on. But Jurgen Klopp did have his say. He said that he fell down randomly in training and so on with an injury. And of course, the bad news is, as well, according to Neil Jones from Goal, of course, as well, says Naby Keita's injury is genuine and there is concern around the severity of it as well. Now, Neil Jones did also add as well, there has been scans today on Naby Keita, not saying, on what particularly, but there's been, apparently 3 or 4 scans on Naby today or so on as well. So again, we don't know the severity of it. Again, though, and we heard about it last night about it, being serious, and Liverpool, openly being serious about it as well. Of course, is not a good sign in particular. And again, yet another midfielder injured for Liverpool. I can see a couple of your guys' reactions in the chat down below as well. But yeah, for me, I love Naby. I love him when he plays, but I have said this, since he has been, of course, with the club and so on. For me, there has to be that timing period when you look at it and go, yeah, you have to cut your losses with it, and maybe that is the case. But honestly, obviously, Liverpool speaking about it, Jurgen Klopp speaking about it, when they said that he went down injured in training on Sunday, and then of course pulled from the squad. It sounded like he was going to start against Manchester United, but again, you just look at it and it's just shite. It's just shite, isn't it? Again, another injury. You don't know how long he's going to be out for. Again, that's another midfielder down. And at the minute, just that's a shite, isn't it? At the moment, as well. Rose says, for me, Pep Linders needs to be questioned as he's part of the coaching staff. I disagree with it, Ravi. To be awfully honest with you, again, if you're questioning Pep Linders, then you have to question Jurgen Klopp. In my opinion, as Jurgen says, they are a team. Everyone works with each other, and so on. So for me, if you're going to question Pep Linders, question Jurgen Klopp as well. If you're going to do that, for me, I just think, look, I think Liverpool are mentally fatigued. And again, you hope things can change, and maybe a win against Bournemouth next week. Hopefully, that's just starts it. And Liverpool go on a tremendous run. We all know we can do it. 50 points out of 54 towards the back end of last season. It's possible. Liverpool can do it. So again, it's still early doors, but again, it's disappointing, isn't it? As well, we be starting Carvalho, says Ravi as well. Yes, that's my honest answer with that. Yes, I do think he should be starting. He is faking his injury. I don't think that's happening, Gary. I don't think Klopp would allow that. I think Klopp would sell him straight away, personally. But again, scans wouldn't be happening if he's faked it out. Excuse me, I just bit my tongue. If he's faking an injury. Remember Phil Coutinho with his back? There was no scans. We all knew what Phil Coutinho wanted to do at the time. And of course, later on gone to Barcelona and so on as well. If Naby is injured, then we're stuck with him for the season anyway. I don't think he's going anyway, to be awfully honest with you, Hannah, as well. I think he's going to stay put, obviously, for the season, and Liverpool going to lose him on a free if he does go next season anyway. People saying about the injuries, but surely the club should be planning for this end of the day. We all know it's going to happen as well. We'll go on about that in a minute. Obviously, Neil Jones has mentioned something about it as well. All we need is that one big game, smash someone 5 or 6-0. Exactly. We just need one little moment to, kickstart everything, and hopefully it will be Bournemouth on the bloody weekend as well. One thing I will say as well, guys, won't be a long stream tonight. It's only going to be about half an hour long tonight, anyway, because of course tomorrow we are going to be doing a midfielder special and looking at who Liverpool could get in this window as well. And of course, we'll be previewing Bournemouth over the week as well anyway. But Neil Jones has had a further say on Liverpool's midfield problems as well, and of course who Liverpool should be recruiting in as well, saying the Reds take pride in the fact that they don't sign players for the sake of it, and they can point to past success in terms of waiting for the right man to become available. Of course, speaking for the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, as well at that time. But he did also go on to say, but if the club aren't at least asking the question of some of their long identified midfield targets, then quite frankly, they are not doing their job. Now, of course, I think what Neil is implying here as well is the fact that, of course, Liverpool, we all know Liverpool wants Jude Bellingham at some point, whether that be now or, of course, in the future, most likely in the future, obviously, because it's very unlikely he leaves Borussia Dortmund now this summer. I say likely, highly unlikely. It's impossible that Jude Bellingham leaves Borussia Dortmund this summer. And I think that obviously there will be a list of 5, 6, 7 players that Liverpool want in their squad, and want to sign and so on. I think that's what that implies, that Liverpool don't have a plan, B. For example, if Jude Bellingham went to Real Madrid next summer, surely there's another option that Liverpool want. So go and get him. If that is a Nico Barella, then go and get him now. While you have the crisis. Now, we all know Liverpool won't go splashing the cash on a random midfielder, and then he'll be here for a summer and then leave next year. Of course, we all know that, but there has to be that point where if you know you want to sign a player, go out and do it. And I think that's, we did it with Luis Diaz. Spurs were about to come in for him. I think Barcelona were about to do a deal or some shady stuff for Luis Diaz as well. Liverpool came in, bids accepted, got it done, was a Liverpool player. And I think that's very similar to a midfielder as well. And obviously, we'll look about it more in depth tomorrow as well, in terms of midfielders. But you look at it, Matthias Nunes gone to Wolves. Obviously, people targeting him this summer as well. Nicola Barella, for Inter Milan, that's going to take 100 million euros. Of course, we looked at the likes of Tuchemeni this summer already. That was obviously a no-go because he wanted Madrid. And we've already mentioned the likes of Jose Mawa. Could Jose Mawa come into Liverpool? Of course, I think Nottingham Forest had a bid of £13 million accepted. I think last week, I think it was. But is Jose Mawa the type of player Liverpool need at the minute? No. I think that's the thing for Liverpool at the moment. Liverpool have a very weird, a very weird type of player that Liverpool want at the moment. It's not specifically, they want like a pacey midfielder, they want this, that, and the other. It's a very unique midfielder that you can only get, on a certain player. And again, Liverpool have tied themselves into a corner a little bit, with this whole Naby Keita situation as well. We've mentioned it on the channel last week as well, before the United game. If the Naby Keita rumours are true, he wants to go next year, we could end up having James Milner, Naby Keita, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain all leaving on a free transfer, and then Liverpool are then asking clubs then around when we need 3 or 4 midfielders for next season. That's clearly not going to happen. But to leave yourself short with asking people for 3 or 4 midfielders, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a huge summer now, I think, for this summer and next summer, and even the January in between for Julian Ward. We've all praised Julian Ward for the deals he's already done with Fabio Carvalho. He was a big influence as well in the Luis Diaz situation and the Darwin Núñez transfer. But the midfield target, it has to be sorted. It has to be a priority. And hopefully, of course, might take this, and then next week, then after the window shut, potentially there might be something, or even an agreement with Dortmund or something gets announced. I doubt it, but one can hope for it as well. Anyway, but Luke is in. Hello, Luke. Not on the 1882 Reds podcast channel, but yes, Luke is currently on holiday. Saying Ricky was right. He was bloody right. It's his fault, Luke. Like I said this to Jack early on. He did it against Burnley. Burnley won. He did it again, and Manchester United won. It's always Ricky. It's always Ricky that blame Ricky. As well. No, I'm kidding, of course. Anyway, but yeah, it was bloody Ricky as well. But good to see you in the chat, Luke, as well, and hopefully you're enjoying your holiday as well at the moment. I can see Jude going to Real Madrid. Next summer, mate. He's their number one target. Yeah. As far as I know, it is between Liverpool and Real Madrid for Jude Bellingham. I don't know. I don't know. Big up Luke as well. Can't wait to see Spearing on the bench. Don't get away. Honestly, get away. John with the glasses emoji as well. No, Luke, we can't be doing that one with lol as well. Spearing more reliable than Ox and Keita. At least Jay Spearing is the goat. Go away, Luke. Go and enjoy your holiday. Go away. Klopp has said he can't spend the money. He has said this. He has said that he's not the person to speak about transfers, but Jurgen did also say that if there was one more injury, or if something had happened, Liverpool then have to react. And again, I think Liverpool have to react right now to the current situation. We currently have the midfield options of Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, James Milner, Fabio Carvalho, and Harvey Elliott. It's not good enough. It's not fair on James Milner. And look, James Milner over the last day, look, he was shit yesterday, don't get me wrong. But it's unfair to judge James Milner, the fact that he shouldn't be starting a Liverpool versus Manchester United game in 2022. He shouldn't be. And I think that the fact that I've seen plenty of people criticize him and things like this, and I'm like, it's not his fault at the end of the day. He's meant to come on for the last 10, 15 minutes, try and close down games, not start games against big clubs. And that's the problem. And look, like Jurgen said, he'd like players that are fit and available, but he currently hasn't got them as well. But yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Enjoy your holiday, Luke, mate, as well. Ricky's a melt with the with the result as well. You said it, not me, as well. But yeah, Ricky's a melt. I hate Ricky for the rest of my life. No, I'm kidding, of course. Enjoy your holiday league as well. Smash the like button, subscribe button, people. If you want the GOAT content like J Spear, this is the place. Pick up Connor as well. Thank you, Luke, for that as well. And yeah, enjoy your holiday as well. Anyway, but guys, we are going to leave it there for tonight anyway. And I think we've kind of a little bit spoken about it. Should we be worried a little bit? And I think yes, the answer is yes. We should be a little bit worried about the start of the Premier League season. But again, hopefully, with the returns of Diogo Jota next week as well, Joel Matip will be back this week, I think, as well. I don't think he'll play though against Bournemouth. I think Klopp might keep him for a bit longer, and so on. And of course, we've spoken a little bit about it as well. But realistically, these two are the ideal transfers that we want. Of course, it's not going to happen. But look, it's nice to dream as well. Anyway, but this isn't a charity though, Connor. He gets a good wage if he's around. He should be able to contribute. I can't turn out for work for the last 3 hours because I'm 30 and it's not fair. No, I get that 100% as well. But I just think that people, when people are awfully criticizing him, and it's like, oh, Milner shouldn't be starting in games like this, and of course he shouldn't be. But who else is there to choose from at the minute? James Milner's fit; he's going to play. It's like Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum was fit all the time, and then got criticised for it. So you get like that. But I absolutely get what you mean as well. To be fair as well, have a beer or 10 for me, Luke, as well. John saying, brilliant show, Connor, mate. Thank you very much. And of course, saying thanks, Connor, as well. But yeah, guys, we are going to be live again tomorrow, hopefully, 9 o'clock. Hopefully, we might have a couple of people on. I was trying to get a couple of people on for this show, but unfortunately, everyone else is busy tonight anyway. But again, if anyone would like to come on the show, then please DM me on Twitter or DM me on, I think DM on YouTube. I don't think that's a thing though anymore. I think they removed that. But, leave it in the comment section down below. If you'd like to come on and have your say about, of course, Liverpool, Manchester United, or any other thing, of course, the midfield problem, any other type of problem concerning Liverpool Football Club as well, let me know in the comment section down below. Or follow us on Twitter, of course, at the Cop Council over on Twitter. Anyway, if any mods are in the chat, I'll the Twitter link in the description, in the comment section down below. Anyway, but yeah, tomorrow we'll be live with what are we live tomorrow with? We are live with midfielders as well. I am live tomorrow with midfielders. We're going to be talking. We're going to have a look, potentially who could Liverpool put a late move in for this window as well. And of course, throughout the week, we will be talking about Bournemouth on Saturday as well. You didn't ask me long. I forgot to, John. I barely forgot to. It was 9 o'clock. I was like, yeah, I hadn't heard back from the people I'd asked on. So, John, I'll get you on tomorrow. There we go. I will get John on tomorrow anyway. But guys, like I do always say, if you're new around here, then please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button as well. It does massively help out the channel as well. And if you could, please, share it out at us as well on Twitter and other platforms as well. If you share it out on as well. And hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Anyway, but yeah, hopefully we can all digest this a bit better now tomorrow, even though it is still annoying the fact we lost to Manchester United 2-1 and played absolutely shite. But yeah, to answer the question, should Liverpool be worried by the start or the poor start to the Premier League season? Yes, is the short answer anyway. But guys, please stay safe, please stay well anyway. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. See you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.